Well, welcome back to Great Day Washington. Recent headlines involving United, American, and Delta Airlines have passengers questioning just what are my rights as a passenger.
Yeah, and here to give us the answer is CBS travel editor Peter Greenberg, who's been on Great Day Washington many times before.
Many times.
Coming back.
Welcome.
Here's the problem. What you saw in all those videos was not an aberration. You just happen to see a lot more videos being taken these days because everybody's got the cell phone camera. But let's start with what your responsibilities are, because that's important. If I'm sitting on a plane and the flight attendant or any crew member comes up to me and says, will you please fasten your seatbelt? Will you please turn off your computer under 10,000 feet? And I don't comply with that request or any other request, and I'm on the plane, I'm in violation of federal law. I have disobeyed a command of a flight crew member, and I am arrested, okay? So if you want to have an argument, try to do it outside the plane on the ground, because once you're in the plane, they are the police. And they have rights. You don't.
Now tell me about the cell phone video and the rise of that, because we saw the doctor being dragged off the plane. We saw the man who had to use the bathroom. He said it was an emergency, and he says he wasn't properly compensated after getting kicked off the plane. So now we have evidence of this. How does that help?
We'll get to the compensation in a second. But what's happening now is it's not an increase in incidents, it's an increase in the number of people taking videos. This has been going on for a while. And when the airlines then apologized, and some of them took a little bit longer than others to do it, as you know, they all said in the same statement, more or less, oh, we're so sorry and saddened. This is not a reflection of our culture and our core values. Some would argue that what those videos were a confirmation of those core values, because what the airlines have been doing to their frontline people for years, their flight attendants, their gate agents, their counter agents, even their res agents, is to say, here are all the things you're no longer allowed to do for your passengers. Here are all the things you can't do anymore. No waivers, no favors. So those people who are the frontline people who have contact with us are unable to do the right thing under penalty of being suspended or fired by their own airline. So when the airlines then say, oh, we're going to retrain our staff, no, darling, retrain your management, because that's where the problem starts. Now, having said that, what's happened in the interim? Delta Airlines has announced, and other airlines have come in, they're going to now up to $10,000 now for you to give up your seat.
Wow.
Right? Now, sounds good, right? Those policies were already in place. They just didn't give their people on the front lines permission to do it. In the Chicago incident, they stopped at $850 in that auction. They could have gone higher. Everybody's got a price. I was on a flight one day, and they wanted somebody to give up their seat. I'm sitting there, and they said, okay, how about $500? Nobody got up. I had places to go. How about $700? I had places to go. They got up to $1,500. I no longer had places to go.
You stood up.
I stood up, and I got trampled by all the other people who figured out the same thing. Everybody has a price. What they did at United that day was what they were worried about cost, killed them in actual value, because you know that was a seven-figure settlement to that doctor in the lawsuit. But once again, had the video not been taken, he would have been arrested because he didn't comply with an order. Now, since then, Congress, you've seen about 5 or 6 different pieces of legislation introduced for passenger rights. Don't count on it. Every other year, there's a bill introduced in Congress because of a reaction to something like this. It never leaves committee. The airline lobby is very strong. So the only hope we have is not Congress, it's the Department of Transportation, for them to make rules. Now, you may remember the tarmac delay rule.
Yes.
Okay. And the airlines all fought it. Well, that was a DOT rule. And it said that if you pushed back from the gate and you kept you on the plane for more than 3 hours, you didn't go anywhere and you didn't get back to the gate, that airline was liable to a fine of $27,500 per passenger.
Wow.
So, you know, on a 737, you're already at millions of dollars. So guess what? How many delays have there been? Not many, because that was the wake-up call. We need the DOT now to make those rules.
Peter, I have like 7 or 8 flights coming up in the next month. What do I need to know before I go to the airport to make sure that I'm protected?
Well, the first thing you want to do is make sure you have a boarding pass that you print up the night before, but then don't think that's your guarantee. Check in at the counter, because if you don't check in, you don't have status, right? And you want to have that bona fide seat. And once you're in your seat, it's all yours, right? That is your seat. Because if they want you to give it up, they have to offer you a deal. And the deal that they want to offer you is not just the money. They have to offer you the money plus the guarantee they're going to get you where you wanted to go in the first place within a certain amount of time. Otherwise, why would you ever take that deal? You'd be stuck at the airport.
So what you're saying is now, once you're in the seat, you're guaranteed it, but that was not the case with Dr. Dow.
Actually, to tell you the truth, it was, but nobody knew it, okay? The point is, look, the only time they can remove you from your seat is in the event of an emergency or a safety issue, or you're actually doing something bad. You're either, you're drunk, you're unruly, you're right, they can actually remove you from the plane from bodily odor, right? So shower before you leave would be helpful.
Okay, and so before we let you go, Peter, the laptop ban, is that being expanded to include flights from Europe?
Here's the deal. The DHS was telling all the airlines recently, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when we're going to do it. We're going to expand it to all those other flights. There was such pushback from the U.S. airlines, but especially the European airlines who were claiming, if you do that, we're going to reciprocate, that it's been tabled for the moment, but don't think it's off the table. It's still on the table. Get ready. It just hasn't happened yet.
Good information. Wow, we've learned a lot. Thanks for coming back, Peter.
Okay, you got it.
And stay